right, guys, good morning and happy Wednesday. We're going over persuasive strategies. So, when you guys are trying to persuade someone to see things in your perspective, right, there are three key strategies that we use: ethos, pathos, and logos. So these are strategies that you guys are going to use. You probably already use and you don't even know it. But we're going to go ahead and learn a little bit more about each of these. So ethos is the credibility of the speaker or the writer, right? So in order to engage the audience on a particular topic, the person presenting the information first has to establish themselves as somebody who can be trusted or as somebody who has a lot of experience on the topic, right? So this is also known as ethics. So when you're using ethos, you're using your credibility as somebody who can be trusted or somebody who has a lot of experience in this area. So ethos is something that appeals to people's intelligence, virtue, morals, or perception of trustworthiness. So let's use the example of toothpaste. So I want you to think of commercials, right? Because commercials frequently use these persuasive strategies to get you to try to buy their stuff. So we're going to use a toothpaste brand. So here we have a doctor of dental surgery. So this guy says, I'm a doctor of dental surgery, and I recommend clean toothpaste to keep your teeth white. So he's a doctor of dental surgery, which means that he has experience in dental hygiene, right? So if he's recommending clean toothpaste to keep teeth white, we can trust, we would think that we could trust him because he's a doctor of surgery for dental matters. So after ethos, we move into pathos. So pathos accesses the emotions and deeply held beliefs of the audience to draw them into the subject matter. So pathos often makes the audience feel like they have a personal stake in the information being provided and is often the catalyst that drives them into action. So pathos appeals to emotion and feelings, biases and prejudices, senses and motivations. So when we're looking at pathos, this is something that politicians use pathos a lot, right? We also see commercials use pathos. You probably use pathos when you're trying to persuade your parents for something, right? So how can we make toothpaste emotional? Think about it. So let's look at this clean toothpaste commercial. You can't just be cool in high school without a white smile. How do you flirt if you're worried about your teeth are stained? But for peace of mind, I use clean toothpaste. So here, this ad is clearly targeting high schoolers, right? Because it's accessing emotions that high schoolers have, right? Specifically in this case, a girl, right? Girl wanting to flirt with guys but doesn't want stained teeth. So we use clean toothpaste to keep those pearly whites white. Oh, excuse my yawn, my goodness. So this is kind of an appeal to emotions, right? Logos. So logos uses logic, reasoning, evidence, and facts to support an argument. So logos appeals to the more rational side of the audience's minds and provides support for the subject matter. Logo strategies are often used to strengthen the impact of pathos and the effect it has on the audience. So logos utilizes evidence, testimony, statistics, data, and universal truths. So this is kind of the logic based, right? So we have ethos, which is ethics, pathos, which is emotion, and logos, which is logic. So you've probably seen logos used in toothpaste commercials before, right? So here we have a doctor and she says, recent studies conclude clean toothpaste removes 40% more plaque, makes your teeth 20% whiter than all other types of toothpaste. So we're using these statistics, right, to support our claim that you should use this toothpaste. So by recognizing the tactics of persuasive arguments, you can learn to utilize it and recognize these tactics in your daily life. So I'm going to give you a storyboard on the next slide that briefly shows you each concept, explains it, and then shows it in action. So let's break these down. We're going to start with ethos. So here in the picture for ethos, we see a man. He looks like a king in a pretty fancy hall. And then we see a man and his child, right? Sorry, I always have to yawn while I'm presenting for some reason. So the man in the background says, as king, I know that all roads lead to Rome. Oh, go back. And then down here, we see this man talking to his son. He says, son, the king knows everything, even the roads that lead to Rome. Persuading by using your perceived credibility. So because the king is the king, right? He should know things about his kingdom, right? He has credibility in what he says, right? And then the key piece here is perceived credibility. This man might not know ish, right? He might know nothing about the roads that lead to Rome and what roads don't lead to Rome, right? But because he's the king and people think he knows everything, they're going to believe him. They're more likely to believe him. Now let's look at Pathos. So in Pathos, we have two kids. It looks like they're on the playground. And in the back, this kiddo says, you will never be satisfied in life if you don't seize this moment. You can do it. Get on the swing. And this person in the front says, well, I don't want to regret not taking this opportunity. So our kiddo in the back is making an emotional appeal. And our girl in the front is like, oh, well, I don't want to have this regret. I don't want to live with regret of not taking this opportunity now. So we can assume that she's probably going to jump on the swing and swing with this dude. And finally, we have logos. So in logos, it looks like we're in like a corporate business office. We have 4 different workers. In the back, we can see this guy's on the phone. This chick's kind of staring at him. Our friendo up front does not look very happy. And this person all the way in the front says, we should move production to Singapore. Manufacturing costs are cheaper. And then this person back here says, also, fire Gary, look at him on his phone again. So we're persuading through a reason, right? Moving production to Singapore, why? Because it's cheaper. Fire Gary, why? Because he's constantly on his phone. He's not a good worker, right? So you can kind of see how each of these have been used. All right, guys, this is all that we're going to do for today. Right now, what you're going to do is I want you to go to your weekly workbook for week 4. You're going to go to slides 11 and 12. Slide 11 is going to give you kind of just a summary of ethos, pathos, and logos. And then on slide 12, what you guys are going to do is you're going to create your own arguments for each of these different types based around voting in the 1930s. So specifically, we saw while we were reading Stella by Starlight that the men, the white men in particular, did not want these Black members of the community to vote. So we have all these extra rules and laws in place to prevent that. So what you guys are going to do is decide whether, well, no, don't decide whether. You guys are basically creating arguments that is saying that Black people should be able to vote. They have a right. There should not be these barriers, right, for them voting. So you're going to create one argument under ethos, so an ethical. You're going to persuade using credibility. Then you're going to do one with pathos. So you're going to appeal to emotion. And then finally, logic. You're going to use a logic as an argument. So give me 3 different arguments based on those. And then any remaining time you guys have today, that's for you to work on vocab. All right? You guys are doing well, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.